Oh, hey there. Welcome back to Jesse Does It. Today, I'm going to try something that I have never seen done before personally. I've searched the internet. I've not found this done before, but I think I'm going to be the first ever to do this on a 68 Mustang coupe. What are we doing? We have a 1967 through 69 Camaro spoiler. It is flipped over backwards, and I think it's gonna go right about here. I've seen it done twice on a 69 Mustang and a 70 Mustang. I have not seen it done on a 68. I think it's possible, guys. I think so. So what I've done so far, all I've done is taken the studs out so that it fits flush on the trunk there, and I'm gonna start cutting. It's plastic. It was $100 on Amazon. I'm gonna cut and mold and bend and hopefully get this thing to fit. If it does, then I'll drill holes in the trunk and paint this thing and go from there. But if not, then $100, whatever, it is what it is. I think it's gonna look good though, guys. So let's see what I can do. So the only crappy thing I can see about this is that I'm gonna lose the Mustang lettering on the back. I'm gonna try and follow a straight line all the way across with the trim. And I mean, you see how close this fits here. Let's see. That's not bad. Just gonna trim around that, I don't know, taillight wing, whatever you want to call it. So let's mark that up. Get this eyeball level. And the goal here is to cut small, miss small, right? I think that's how it goes, aim small, miss small. Anyways, we're gonna cut a little bit at a time as to not go over. I don't know what else it's gonna need. Anyways, like I said, it's $100, it's plastic, how bad can we screw it up, right? So let's give that a shot, boom. All right, so that was the first cut, and we were pretty close, actually. Let's take a look. It really does want to follow that body line. So now I think I need to cut here because it's hitting here now. So I might try to blend this in a little bit, round it off a little bit, cut there. Still have the other side to do, but we're gonna just keep on plucking away at it. So I was just playing around and decided to try and spin the wing around the other way, which I actually think is the backwards way now. I think before I had it the way that it would have gone on a Camaro. I think now I have it backwards. Anyways, no matter what, I think I can get this to fit better. Now, there is a gap there, but this does two things for me. Number one, this is the natural cut, and it's pretty close. So I can just kind of fill this, trim this out a little bit, but it also allows me to keep the Mustang. Now, this is the cut I made, not the end of the world. It still is going to sit down on there. So, I don't know, man. I kind of like it like this. Better than the way I originally had it, because now I don't have to lose my Mustang, and I think it, you know, I think it flows. I think it looks good back there. Obviously have to fix that gap, but when it sets down, that gap will be fixed. So I think that's the direction we're actually going to go now. I mean, that kind of looks sweet back there too. All right, new direction, still trimming, Still getting it to fit flush, and we're gonna still play around with it. So there we are now. Okay, I lied. Let's try that again. Okay, I lied. I flipped it back around, and I do think this is the way I'm gonna leave it. So it matches much better. I think it flows much better. I'm still gonna cut a little bit out here. There's a lip underneath here that I'm gonna grind out as well to make it fit flatter. But I am gonna lose the Mustang lettering. I'm gonna follow this line along the back, and I think this is where it's gonna go. Disregard that because I'm not gonna cut that. I'm gonna leave this all the way out. So I'm gonna trim around here and here. Trim that lip all the way in there. I'll flip it over so you can see that. It's this lip right here. I'm gonna trim that flush on the front side to help it sit flatter on the back. And yeah, I think we're getting somewhere. Not too much trimming really involved, but we're gonna take our time, get it nice and flush and fit as best as possible, and I'll show you what it looks like. All right, so I cut that bottom lip off, and now it's time to blend this in. So I think I'm gonna go with this. And we'll cut that off and see how that looks. So basically, this is already kind of trimmed. Now I'm going to trim this section right here and see how that looks. Alright, so I did a little bit more trimming, and as you can see, we are very flush right here. It matches the body lines really good, and I'm very happy with this gap all the way along there. Obviously, once I tighten the bolts down, that will cinch up better. But this side is pretty close to done. So I got to do the same thing to the other side. And then I got to drill some bolt holes and slap this thing together. I got to figure out what I'm going to do about this, because this gap is a little bit big, but I have a feeling that once I cinch everything down, that will tighten that gap up. So I'm going to cut the other side and see how we're looking. And I think we are basically there. Now, obviously we're not bolted down. We're held up by tape right now. I think once I cinch the bolts down, this gap is going to clean up a lot. I also don't want it exactly touching, because then it's going to rub paint off. Not that paint matters on this car right now, but eventually it will be painted nicely. So we've got this side done, and this side done as well. It flows very nice. And again, I think I just need to drill bolt holes, cinch it down. Obviously it needs a paint job. We're going to take off the Mustang letters here, and again, I think this gap, once we cinch it down, will get closed up. So that's next, is to mark and drill holes. Yeah, I know, drill holes. But the trunk lid is rusty and got holes in it already, so it's not the end of the world if I don't end up liking this. But I think I'm gonna like it. So here's a look at the underside. You can see the lip here, which is right here. I ground that off all the way across. And in doing so, I also had to grind these bolt stud holes a little bit as well at a downward angle. So all the way along the top here, these were all ground down just a little bit to get rid of that lip, which is this lip right here. I left the back side alone. I think this helps close off the gap there. But that's a look at the underside. I did grind a little bit here because it was touching. So these metal plates that were in here are they're going bye-bye, so that's fine. And these are what those metal plates used to screw into, and not needed as well. So that's where we're at now. Again, gonna line up and drill bolt holes, and be right back. All right, we got our holes drilled. Now for the true test. Is it all gonna work? I don't know. I think it's gonna work good enough. Would I do this to a show car? I don't advise that. But this is not a show car. Also, well, the trunk's not going to stay open anymore with the weight of the wing. Oh well, race car, right? Well, here it is in all its glory. Don't do this at home. I'm very stoked on how it turned out. It looks really cool. It definitely does not fit on the 68 as good as it does on a 69 or 70. Let's take a look at what we got though. As you saw before, body lines match up. Nice, decently even gap all the way across. Hopefully that doesn't whistle while we're going down the interstate. And I was not able to tuck this up. Now, the only way to actually see that is to get down and look up. So when you're standing up, you can't see that at all. Body lines fit here nice. Everything fits nice and right, except for this gap right here. If anything though, that kind of helps out my rust holes in the trunk. But I kind of had issues with getting the bolts up through there. So getting the bolts up in there, the nuts on the backside, was pretty tough. And I don't know how much my trunk is just out of whack, because this probably could be cinched down, and I will probably fool around with that to try and get that better. But for now, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. Obviously it needs to be painted, so I will scuff it up, paint it. It's just going to get black right now, flat black, to kind of match everything else. And the compressor's on. But yeah, that kind of gave the coupe a fast look. Does that make sense? I'm very happy with it. Yeah, again, is it professional quality? No. Could a body work could a body shop have done this better? Absolutely. If you want something that looks good from 10 feet away, go with this 67 through 69 Camaro spoiler, because it looks good from 10 feet away. I will go ahead and get the car out in the sun and take some better looks at it, but for now, I'm done. We'll take a look at it then. All right, let's take a look at it out here in the open. I mean, that looks really cool. Hopefully you can see the sun's not shining too bright. That gave it a meaner look for sure. Yeah, just small, simple. Very happy with that. What do you guys think? Keep it or no? Anyways, I appreciate you guys checking out this video. It didn't quite turn out the way I was hoping to. I was hoping it was going to fit perfectly. Obviously, should have known better. But I don't think it's terrible. So I think I'm going to rock it for a little bit and see how I like it in the future. I can tell you this much, that looking in the rearview mirror, it's in the way. It definitely reduces what you see in the rearview mirror quite a bit, but it's all in the name of speed, right? This added like 250 horsepower for sure. Anyways, guys, I appreciate you watching. If you did like this video, click that like, comment, subscribe button. I greatly appreciate it. As always, I am Jesse with Jesse Does It. Till the next project. Peace. All right, so it was bothering me. I couldn't leave it alone. I'm not done, but I did go ahead and cut this to match. That area was bothering me the most, and that definitely looks better now. Yeah, you can still see my rust holes, and yeah, there's still a gap there. I'm probably still gonna play around with it to try and see if I can bring that back in more, but it fits better now. So that I think I can live with, especially now that it flows with the back of the trunk better. So anyways, just wanted to throw that in there. I did not leave the rear end that way. I did have to trim it up a little bit more. So there's still some fine tuning I can do, but we're getting there. It does work if you can deal with the little bit of gap. But I mean, honestly, besides a fiberglassed in spoiler, what's gonna fit better? I mean, that's about as good as you're gonna get there. So not terrible, guys.